we started the concepts of moves, and we are looking at yesterday we had looked at some concepts. Okay, so what are the things yesterday we had seen? Let me open that one. So, guys, one thing I will tell you, see, most concepts are not that easy to understand and digest, like pandas or NumPy or visualizations and all. They are simple, but these things are the core thing, is like core things, concepts, OOPS concepts. So, if you are core strong in this OOPS concepts, you can coding will be very easy for you. You try to understand the code and other things will make you easy. So make sure that you practice more, you practice more, you practice and all. That is important. Okay. So yesterday we had seen a simple if statement, and yesterday we had seen elif, and then we had seen a while loop, we had seen a for loop, we had seen a nested loops, and then we had seen a range function. Then we had seen about range function start stop, and then we had seen about range function start stop and step. Okay, an increment. And then we had seen about break statement, and then we had seen about continue, what is continue and all. And then we had seen about pass, what is pass and all. Okay, so these are the things yesterday we had seen. So today, what shall we do is we shall see the concepts of functions. So, what is functions? What are the use of functions? Because we had seen lot of functions. So, for example, let me open my Jupyter notebook. We are opening that one. I guess. What we are going to see today, we are going to see the concepts of functions. Go to markdown, hash, and then functions. Okay. So let me open this functions stuff as well as. So what are functions? So what we are going to see. See, for example, let me take a few example. So come here, A equal to 100. Okay. And B equal to hello. So A equal to 100, B equal to hello. Now if I ask for type of A, So it is a number, it is an integer. So what it is saying, it is integer. Suppose if I ask for type of B, so it is a string. So it is saying it is a string. Okay. For example, if I ask length of B, so B consists of four elements, so five elements over here. So it has to say five. Okay. Five. So what is this type length? So we had so many functions. We had seen so many functions till now. So what are these functions? They are inbuilt functions. Okay. Suppose if I want to print hello. Okay. Suppose print hello. So I have to print hello. Run it. So what is doing? It is printing hello. Suppose if I want to print hello for two times, print hello. Now what I want to do, I want to print hello for two times. Okay. So, so what it will do, it will print that hello for those many times. Okay. Suppose if you want two times, it will print for two times. It will, if you want to print three times, it will print for three times and all. Okay. But if I want to print hello for 100 times, so what? I can't print hello, print hello, print hello 100 times. We can't type. Okay. So what did we have to do in that case? We have to write a function. Okay. So what are functions? So this type, length, okay, structure, info, all these are nothing but built-in functions. Okay. So the functions which are built in Python, they are called as built-in functions by default. The functions which we write are called as user-defined functions. Okay, so we let us see what is function. Okay, so a function is a set of instructions that is used to perform a single related operation. So mainly, so this is what a function is. What is function? A function is used to do single related operation. Yes, for example, if you see here, what is function? This is the definition of function. A function is a set of instructions that is used to perform a single related operation. So why we use these functions? Functions are organized. Functions are reusable. Functions are modularized. Okay. So Python, there are built-in functions. So print is a function, built-in function. Int is a built-in function, length is a built-in function, but we can create our own functions also. So the functions which we create on our own, they are called as user-defined functions. The functions which we create on our own are called as user-defined functions. And generally, what is the syntax for these functions is we use a keyword def. Def is a definition. Okay, a keyword def we use, and we give the name of the function, and then we give certain parameters and then certain statements, and it will return something. So this is how generally the syntax of a function will be. So what we will do is, let us work practically with the code so that you can understand more what is function and how. So come here to the coding thing. So print Mera Bharat Mahan. So what I'm doing, I want to print Mera Bharat. So come here. I'm printing Mera Bharat Mahan. What it is doing, it is printing Mera Bharat Mahan. Suppose I want to print Mera Bharat Mahan five times. So what I will do, I will write print Mera Bharat Mahan, print Mera Bharat Mahan five times. Come here. Print Mera Bharat Mahan, print Mera Bharat Mahan, print Mera Bharat Mahan. We are writing here for six times. Okay. So if you want to print Mera Bharat Mahan 100 times, what you have to do, you have to write print Mera Bharat Mahan some 100 times, which is very difficult to do. Okay. So now what I'm doing, I am just writing a function, writing a function to print Mera Bharat Mahan. Okay. So write it. Def. So I told you How to write a function? Using the keyword def. So always do remember, we write the function with the keyword def. Greet. What is this greet? This is name of the function. See, this is the keyword we use. We need to define the function. What is this greet? This is name of the function, and this is a parenthesis, and the function will end with a colon. And then we have the statement, group of statements over here. So what this function is doing, it is printing Mera Bharat Mahan. So this is how to build a function. Now a small function, a very tiny. So we had run that one, but it is not executing anything. We had not got any output. See, if you observe here, guys, we had built a function with the name create. So in order to make it execute, or in order to give the output of that function, or in order to execute that function, what you have to do, you have to call that function. So how you call that function with its name? So what is the name of the function? Greet. So let us call that function. So I'm calling that function. Run it. See. Now it is printing Mera Bharat Mahan. Okay, so now it is printing Mera Bharat Mahan. So do remember, guys, I'm repeating again. So def is the keyword which is used to define a function. Greet is the name of the function. It has a parenthesis and it will end with a colon. Suppose what if I won't give this parenthesis? I'm not giving that parenthesis. I'm just giving great. Try to run that one. It will throw an error. So what it should have? It should have a parenthesis. Okay. So let us give the parenthesis. Try to run that one. Again, it is throwing an error saying expected syntax error. You should have a semicolon over there. Okay. So run it. And now try to run that one. It will execute. Fine. So if you when you build a function, what you have to do in order to execute or in order to make it work, you need to call that function. Okay, so here I am calling that function. How to call that function? Using its name. What is its name? Greet. So greet and whatever there within that function will be executed. So what is there? The statement inside this function? We have a statement print Mera Bharat Mahan. So this Mera Bharat Mahan is getting printed, guys. Okay. But what is our motto? Our motto is to print this Mera Bharat Mahan as many times as we want. Suppose if I want to print Mera Bharat Mahan 5 times, I have to do that one using this function greet. Suppose if I want to print Mera Bharat Mahan 10 times, I have to do that one by giving some input to it. Okay, so that is our target. Our target is to print Mera Bharat Maha. How many number of times we want? We want to print that one. So how to do that one? So to do that one, I'm writing. Suppose for example, if you take this Greek, okay, suppose I want Mera Bharat Mahan 2 times. So let me call again here, Greek. Running. So Mera Bharat Mahan is displayed 2 times. Suppose I want 3 times. Mera Bharat Mahan it is displayed 3 times. But we write a function, but we are calling that function as many times as possible. Okay. So Mera Bharat Mahan, Mera Bharat Mahan, Mera Bharat Mahan, and all is executed 3 times. That is what it is doing. Now what shall we do is now this is the basic function we had, right? Def greet print Mera Bharat Mahan. So def greet, what it is doing, it is printing Mera Bharat Mahan. But what is our motto? Our motto is to print Mera Bharat Mahan any number of times. Okay. So just a moment, guys. So someone with the name Oppo has joined. Please rename yourself, guys. I repeat again, someone with the name Oppo has joined. Please rename yourself because you should not join with any of the names like this. You should join with a valid name. So the person who has joined with Oppo just now, please rename yourself, buddy. Okay, thank you. So our motto is to write this one for file. So what I'm doing, I'm improvising this function. Def great, print Mera Bharat Mahan. I'm improvising that one. So how I am improvising? I'm writing a while loop inside that one. So what I'm doing, I'm writing a while loop. Okay. So def greeten. So this greeten is the name of the function. Def is the definition. Okay. So def is the definition. And what I'm doing, I'm writing a while loop inside that one. So what we are doing, we are writing a while loop inside this one. So why we write this while loop? Because I want to print Mera Bharat Mahan so many times. Okay, so run it. So now we had built a function with the name greeted. So you had built a function with the name greeted. So in order to execute what is there within this function, what you have to do, you have to call that function. So when you build a function, what you have to do, you have to call that function. So without calling that function, it is waste of building that function. Okay, so I am calling that function. So what is the name of the function? Greeted. Greeted. So run it. If you see, it is throwing an error. What it is saying, missing one required positional argument n. If you see here, when we build greet n function, we are giving some parameter n, but this n is not present over there. So the value of when we need to give here. Okay. Suppose I want to print Mera Bharat 5 times. So what I have to do, I have to give a value of 5. So let us give the parameter or the positional argument. You can call it as parameter or you can call it as argument. See, you should be very much familiar with the technical terms. Just try to remember what is the term I am using. I am using it, the name as I'm calling it this 5 as a parameter, or else you can call it as an argument also. Okay. So I'm giving a parameter of 5 and now try to run that one. See. Now it is printing Mera Bharat Mahan 5 times. Suppose if I want to print Mera Bharat Mahan 10 times. So what I will give? I'll give a parameter or an argument of 10. So what it will do? It will print Mera Bharat Mahan 10 times. See. So it is building Mera Bharat Mahan 10 times. So what you have to understand is this n, these are called as parameters. You can not only have a single parameter, you can have multiple parameters also. Okay. So inside a function, you can have multiple parameters as well as, but the parameters, whatever you mention while building the function, you should use them while calling that function. That is one thing which you need to remember. Okay. So here what is my task? My task is to print Mera Bharat Mahan 10 times. So what I did, I had built a function with the name greeten. So def is a keyword, greeten is the name of the function, and inside that function I have a while loop. Okay, I equal to 0 while I less than n, print Mera Bharat Mahan, and I am incrementing that I equal to I plus 1. So I am incrementing that I every time. And I am giving a condition, while condition, while I less than n. So already yesterday we had covered this while loop. So I don't want to explain further. So try to understand. So I had a while loop inside the function. Okay. So what is the use of this function? We can print Mera Bharat Mahan as many times as we want. Suppose I want 5 times. I can print 5 times. Suppose I want 15 times. I can print 15 times. Okay, as many times as your wish may. So that is what the thing. And now let us let us increase more. So this time it's the same function, greeting. Okay, so the same function. Let me remove this one and on this one. Okay. So if you see, you had already seen how this function is working. So now for the same function. So if you see this and this are the same function. So let me, if this and this are the same, so you have I equal to 0, here I equal to 0, while I less than n, print Hamara Bharat Mahan I equal to I plus 1. But if you see here, I had added something more here. What it is? Prints Mera Bharat Mahan n times. Okay, so Let us change it to Mera. Here, Hamara is there, so don't get confused. So let me change it to Mera. Mera Bharat Mahan end type. So run that one. So we had run that function. So when you build a function, what you have to do, you have to call that function. So how to call that function? Using it name. What is the name of this function? The name of the function is greetn. So let us see greetn. Okay. So run that function. So it is saying one positional argument is missing. Okay. So why that positional argument? See, this n is missing over here. So I am giving a value of 3 here. Okay. Run it. See, it is printing Mera Bharat Mahan 3 times. So what is this print Mera Bharat Mahan n times? So what is this? So in order to know that one, keep the cursor over here and do a shift tab. So when you do a shift tab, I am repeating again, keep the cursor over here in the parameter, okay, and do a shift tab. So what it is doing, it is displaying something. Just a moment. Give a shift tab and okay. So the moment if we press any button, it is going. That's okay. Give a shift tab. So what is this signature? So signature is greeting. What is signatures? Many people see this oops concepts in interviews. They will ask you the same question in a number of possible ways. For example, here what I'm saying greeting. Greeting is nothing but the name of the function, but you can also call it as the signature. Okay, signature is nothing but the name of the function. So greeting is the name of the function with the parameter. And what is this? Mera Bharat Mahan, if you see here, prints Mera Bharat Mahan n time. So what it is called as? It is called as doc string. Okay. So what is the use of this doc string? So generally, guys, in real term, when you write a function, what you have to do, you have to give the description about that function. So what is that function doing and all? Because always you will be not working on the project. Sometimes after a few years, you will leave that company. So whoever comes in your place, they should know what is the need of that function and what is the use of that function and where that function is used. So for that, what you have to do, you have to do the documentation and that is called as doc string. So what is this doc string? This doc string will tells about the description of that function. So it is telling prints Mera Bharat Mahan and so whatever you give here in the quotations, it will print over here and it will tell you file type. What is the type of this one? This is a function. So it is saying that it is a function. Okay. So that is what the thing is. So do remember this doc string. So the same function with the doc strings. Okay.